Hey guys, it's me again. This is part three. Uh, it's 9:35 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on 10/2/2025. And I'm your happy-go-lucky channel provider on this particular subject matter here at Black Projects 51. Um, I chose to share with you, not necessarily a kit review per se, because there's a ton of them out there on this particular model, but it's an awesome model. It's extremely popular subject matter, and all kinds of kits have been released in this genre, from garage kits early on to the first what MPC or AMT. I can't remember who made them originally. But I'm talking about the Space 1999 Eagle, the 1/48 scale. I believe that's the scale given to it. It's 2 feet long. So, uh, I have this kit. The only option I haven't got for this kit to add to the build is the aluminum engine bells, because I have a technique which, when I do it, I'll probably video it and share it with you, or at least explain the process and then show you the finished product. I don't know. We'll see when that time comes, because it's still very much a kit. I've done Only thing I've done on this kit was just some cleanup on a few things and looking at how it's built, all the parts. I've watched a crap ton of videos, or a whole bunch of videos. I got to remember, we got little guys and girls possibly watching this. So, um, yeah. So I'm going to share what I bought extra for it, and I've gave myself options because I have the full interior, including the cockpit, um, and the cargo pod, or the personnel pod, or the science pod, or whatever pod you choose to put on your uh, Eagle. I got those two options, and I didn't get the rocket booster. At least I don't think I did. It's pretty pathetic when you don't know what you got. I digress. But I've had this kit now for, well, since it came out, and I bought a little bit here, a little bit there for where I wanted to go with it, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just show you. I'm going to go ahead and pull the box off, lid off, and I do like how they've got all kinds of pictures everywhere on the box art, including the outside of the lower half of the box. But this is the kit. You guys all know it. Great kit, by the way. Round two or whatever, the MPC, whomever has been producing this kit, did a beautiful job. So, all that being said, wow, none of this is scripted for me. I just wing it, man. I'm thinking that spine pod that I didn't get, I think I did, because I've got extra engine bells here that I'm trying to lay out things as I talk to you, and see where I'm at and what's going on. Um, and I do have a bunch of parts here. Oh, did. I did buy the spine booster. There's all kinds of little tiny parts and greeblies in there. This is all the aftermarket resin stuff I'm showing. Good grief. Yeah, here's the Science Pod extensions for the side of the pods. More booster details. So there's these, which you guys are all familiar with, I'm sure. You know, using the laptop for my camera really kind of sucks. I do have a camera. Incidentally, that's the bottom where the landing gear would go, I think. Or, do they put gear on that section? No, I don't think so. Maybe that's just something else, and I'm not sure what it is. Here's the other one. So, yeah, and there's just tons and tons in this aftermarket resin kit. There's just more parts than you can imagine. And here's the cargo bay kit. Most of you are familiar with what this kit comes with, and I may open up a few of these bags and oh yeah, I definitely got the rocket booster. There's even more uh, elements to that thing because it's pretty complex. And then we got the trademark beak or the command module of the craft. Now, some of you I know this already, but if you ever have fit problems with your kits, one of the best things you can do is figure out what size the receptacle holes are for all your pins that hold everything in place. You guys know what I'm talking about. All those pins, you see them? So the female side of where those pins go into, sometimes if you could take a drill that's just slightly larger than the inner diameter of those receptacles, then you can enlarge them just a smidge, and it'll give you just enough wiggle room to get your part to align properly. So then we got the back half of the command module. Command module, I always think about the orbiting aspect of the Apollo missions. Yeah, because here you got, in this pack, you got your engine bells. I don't know if it's all of them, but you got, because I think they're two-piece. I think most of them are two-piece, except for the ones that go on the bottom of the cargo thing. I'm not going to pull all the kit out here because most of you are familiar with it. It comes with all the transparencies and so on and so forth. What I will share with you, though, which they're kind of buried underneath all this stuff. I need to gently slide them out, not damage them. I did buy the aftermarket decal set, which is in here with the regular decals. So We all are probably pretty familiar with the trademark kit decals. It's still in the bag, and I really don't want to open the bag and take them out, but that's it. That's the decals that come with it, which are sufficient. But then you got this sheet, which is aftermarket, and these do have carrier film. And all those gray blocks and stuff, those are shading blocks that you can put when you're doing your paneling highlights and so on and so forth. Also, other uh, elements of that. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, I've got, so what's represented here is, like, for example, this is the aftermarket science. It can be the science pod, or it can be just the regular cargo pod. But this resin one is the science pod. I think that's what they call it. The ones with the extensions. You guys feel free to correct me. I'm not quite as hip on my Space 1999 as I am Star Trek and like SG1 in particular, because those are two of my favorites. But yeah, so there is a boatload of parts in this kit, and I'm not kidding you. And I, my friends, have managed to fit all the extra parts in the same box. Um, yeah, I've got aftermarket seats for the interior and two aftermarket pilots, which they're in there. You can barely see them. But whenever I get around to the build, you guys will see this stuff in more detail. I'm just not terribly concerned about uh, going chapter and verse on this, because there are guys out there online that are really into this, especially this genre, just like other ones. And it's build it, have fun, make it your own. If you want to get caught up into canon and everything has to be exactly like the filming models, that's fine too. But for some people, that might rob you of the joy of the process. So um, I would encourage you to keep things simple. Just have fun. If you're just starting out, your models will get progressively better if you stay with it. And there's all kinds of resources available online for just about any model kit you want to build. So, um, my word to you would be, find what you like, find what's interesting, what you can afford to do. And if you're young, ask your parents to help you make those decisions. Because a lot of dads out there, though they may not do it anymore, were into model building when they were kids. And they still have an interest, even though they may not be doing, but they knew it was a good, wholesome hobby when they were a kid. So, a lot of dads out there, some moms, because there are women into the hobby. Um, so, and some of these women, oh my word, they do a really good job. They truly do. That was the sleeve that the decals were supposed to go in, but oh well, it'll be okay. Yeah, so guys, it's it's a hobby at its core. It's meant to be enjoyed. If you're not enjoying it, just like anything else, then reevaluate why you're doing it. Do it for yourself, do it for fun, and have a good time at it, man. You know, some people in our community can be, and I say some because it's true, can really be, well, for lack of a better, buttheads about the whole thing. That if you're not canon, then you don't even need to be on their channel or whatever. I'm serious. I've met people like that. I'm like, I just look at them and walk away. I'm like, really, really, okay. I am not. When I was younger, I had an ego, but now that I'm an old guy, I see the foolishness of egotistical mindsets. I Yeah. Look at this, guys. I'm gonna try to tip it up so you can see. This box is overflowing with parts. That's just the way it is. Um, I was able to, honestly, you shop around, you could get some really good deals on some of these aftermarket parts, you know? So this thing isn't going to want to close all the way, but there you have it. The 148 scale Eagle. It's it's a beautiful kit, but plan on sitting at the bench for a few months to build it up right. I mean, you could build this up in a week. You could build it even faster if you just didn't care. You just want to slop it together. You can. That's whoever, whatever your prerogative. But yeah, it's um, it's a fantastic kit. Good representation of the studio model. Uh, I don't know how accurate it is in comparison to the studio model, but from my understanding, the gentleman who I forget his name right now, sacrilege, all the Space 1999 geeks, and I'm a geek too, so I'm not poking fun at anybody, but yeah, it's a beautifully done kit. As far as I could tell from some of the reviews and stuff I've seen, and people that really look for accuracy against the filming miniature, which they had they had some really small eagles that were like 3 inches long, and then they had like I think a 144 scale, and then they had a 172nd scale, and then they had uh, the 148th, and then they had the, I think the quarter scale is what it is, the 44 inch. I think that's a quarter scale. I'm not sure. I don't know. But they used all the references they could find and talked to the guy who originally designed it. It might even say on the box, I'm sure it does. Yes, it does. Brian Johnson. Here, he's on the side of the box. That fella right there. That was obviously back in the 70s. So, with that, guys, I'm going to let you go. I just, thought I'd have a little fun with you, engage you a little bit tonight. Um, Hopefully, something I said sparked some interest in you or made you laugh. These times right now, I'm more interested in putting a smile on your face and making you laugh than anything else because, you know, it's a mean, cold, hard world out there. A lot of bad people. A lot of good people, though, too. So Can't lose sight of that. Always got to bring in the positive. Light dispels darkness. So, with that, guys, I hope you had a good time just hanging out with me and putting up with me because I like doing this. It's fun. It's meaningful to me, and I think I'm doing this, having a channel and stuff for all the right reasons. And I hope it prospers. And with your guys' help, it will. But I'll do my best to bring you interesting stuff. May not the presentation may not be, you know, caviar. It might be spam, but hey, you know, as long as you have fun. And that's what I want you to do is just have fun and enjoy your hobby. Always keep your priorities right, especially you older gents. Don't neglect your family over model building. And I say that because I went through that. And my wife at the time she's deceased now, but she was right. I was ignoring her and I shouldn't have been. And I certainly don't want to do that with Jenna. So Jenna's a sweetheart, and I try to bend over backwards taking care of her and being a good husband. But I fall short sometimes, as we all do. So with that, I am going to let you guys go. And hey, happy modeling, man. Get on that bench and make some progress and have some fun. And I hope to bring you something very intriguing, interesting, maybe make you think of things that you haven't thought of, so on and so forth. I will try to include tools and tips on occasions. I don't want to get wrapped up in that stuff too much, but if I find a product that works for me and it's really good and it helps me become a better modeler or helps my techniques really flow when with lesser tools it might not work out so great. So all of that, man. I want to try to be helpful on every angle I can. I've been doing this since I was 10. No, 5. I've been working since I was 10. I started building models when I was 5, and they were not a thing to behold, trust me. But I had fun, and I've loved it ever since. And my mom is a wonderful human being, and she still likes the fact that I'm building models and told me to never stop. She goes, David, if that's something you love to do with your time, life's short and enjoy anything you can within reason, morally, ethically, legally, all that good stuff. So I digress again. But yeah, guys, I have fun doing this for you. I hope that you guys enjoy watching the videos. Like I said, I'll get better at this. It's everything I'm doing right now is totally impromptu, no script, no nothing. I'll probably never have no script because I like authenticity. What you see is what you get. I'm not a perfect human being. I'm as flawed as the next guy I'm walking down the street. And if I'm not as flawed as they are, I'm potentially. Depends on how life treats you, right? So with that, good night. You guys have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you at the next video, which will probably be tomorrow. And it will probably be the Nebula class because I do want to make headway on that. But what I also got to do is build, and I think I told you in the few videos back, I got to build a um, shipping box for the Area 51 UFO diorama that I got to ship to Timothy Alberino. I'm taking it to him actually, but what I want to do is you remember the end scene in Indiana Jones where they were rolling the Ark of the Covenant down the aisleway of this massive warehouse with boxes stacked everywhere, and all those boxes were very interesting. Had all kinds of stickers and stamps and things on them identifying what they're where it was from, what it was, and so on and so forth, just piled to the ceilings. Well, I want to make a box like that with, top secret on it. And of course, the name of my channel, Black Projects 51, and, you know, fragile, handle with care, that kind of stuff. I may go see if I can go to one of the UPS stores and see if they have those sticky labels, because I may uh, put some of those on too, just for fun. Wow, my Telegram channel, which is political stuff and daily life events and all that. It's Stealth Warrior 7, all one word, in caps, the number 7 at the very end. If you're so inclined, Stealth Warrior 7 at Telegram. And I'm backlogged 340 postings, so I got to get busy. I'm going to do that here real quick. But good night, guys. Peace. As soon as my mouse wants to cooperate.